Hey everyone, it's Joe Carroll. I am in my mix room in Nashville, Tennessee today, and I have beside me the AMS 1073 SPX-D. You may wonder what's new and unique about this. Well, it's a true 1073 circuit, not a look-alike, not a copy, not a clone, but actually made in the UK, just like they did in 1970 with Marinair transformers. A Marinair transformer on the microphone input, on the DI input, on the line input, as well as the output. That's a big deal. Hitting those transformers with a true three-stage gain circuit just like the original. One key factor that sets the AMS Neve product apart from some of the other companies that have recreated this circuit is the EQ itself. It's not just an EQ at specific frequency ranges, it's the way it's made. It's actually an inductor-based EQ, just like Rupert had in those 80 series consoles back in 1970. Now, everyone that's watching this video knows that if you're in this game, you want at least one channel of 1073 preamplifier in your studio. They're just a very special circuit. Everything that passes through these comes out on the other side sounding bigger, better, and more important than it did on the way in. That's why they're extremely sought after on lead vocals, bass guitar, drums, acoustic guitar, electric guitar, you name it. They're just one of those tools that every serious studio wants to have in their rack. So far, I haven't told many of you anything that you don't already know. So why are we featuring this, the 1073 SPX-D today? It's because it takes everything that we know and love about the original 1073 preamplifier circuit and EQ and packages it in a modern digital tool that makes it also a standalone interface or expansion interface. On the conversion side, it's a very high quality 24-bit 192 capable A to D, D to A. On the back, we have very simple to use USB connectivity that goes right into your laptop or computer of choice, and it's true no fuss plug and play. For interfacing into existing systems, we have ADAT optical on the back, in and out. To integrate properly with other digital gear, we do also have a word clock connector. On the back panel, we have XLR connectors and quarter-inch connectors that we can use to interface into a patch bay, other equipment in the studio, and even speakers. As convenient as it is to have a piece like this in your rack showing up on your patch bay, of course, sometimes you want to just grab a microphone and plug it in right away, or a guitar, or anything else. So we look up here on the upper left-hand side, we have this combi connector that allows for quarter-inch or XLR input to access our microphone preamplifier, our line input, or our DI. It's really easy to select this as our source with this button right here labeled front. We can push this and the input jacks on the back are deactivated. Directly under that is a button that activates one of the coolest features about this unit that makes it really unique, and that is this digi button that we can press, and we can use this as an insert inside of our DAW. That's pretty cool. Our next set of buttons are really common preamplifier selections. We have our impedance selector here labeled low Z. We have our phantom power toggle on or off if we're using condenser microphones. We can activate the DI, and as well we have a 20 dB pad. Next, you'll notice the super recognizable, very familiar trademark red Neve gain knob. And you'll notice up here at the top that we go all the way up to 80 decibels of gain. So we can really power a lot of old ribbon mics and dynamic mics that have a low output. Next, we have that very familiar 1073 EQ that we all know and love, along with a high-pass filter. Right next to that, we have a couple buttons that are really unique and could be very useful for a lot of us that maybe don't have a patch bay, depending on how we're going to use this thing. We have a polarity reverse switch. We have a switch to engage the EQ on or off. Engaging the insert switch here on the front runs audio in and out of the quarter-inch connectors on the back so that we can use something like an 1176 compressor, an LA2A compressor, a Pultec equalizer, anything that we want, and it will follow the EQ before the device's output. But engaging the button labeled pre places the insert before the EQ. So if you like to EQ into compression or you like to EQ after compression, either way we can make that happen right here. Right next to that we have the OP level knob, which is of course our output level, and that control is post EQ but pre-output transformer. Yeah, that's a big deal to me, is that most engineers, we get used to going into studios that have 1073s pulled out of vintage consoles, and the output knob is actually just a trim. So it's wide open, is nominal, and we can trim it if needed. Where a lot of recreations have active makeup gain, which is fine. However, there's no indication as to where nominal is. Where is unity? Where is no trim, no gain? And you'll see here that we have a really thick line that indicates right here is unity. So we can trim it if needed, if we're coming out too hot. If we want to really load up the front end for color, or if we want 5 dB of active makeup gain, we can have it. But if we want unity, we can set it right here. And that's a big deal that I think a lot of manufacturers have overlooked the fact that us engineers are going to want that. The blend knob is really handy for monitoring between the output of the DAW, or if we want no latency whatsoever, we can just turn it over here towards the SPX side, or anywhere in between. Another thing about these knobs is that you'll see they're actually buttons as well, so we can press them and we can change different parameters. For example, right here on the blend knob, currently we're controlling the output levels of 1 and 2, but with just the press of it, we can control the output levels of 3 and 4. Right next to that, we have our final knob, which is the monitoring level. So remember, this acts as a standalone interface, so we can use this knob right here to control our studio monitors and our headphones. As well, with a simple press, we can cut the studio loudspeakers and just listen on the headphones. As we mentioned earlier, everyone that's in this game knows that they want at least one channel of Neve 1073 style preamplifier in their collection. It's just, it's iconic. It's something that we all want. It's a sound that we all chase, that we know, that we love. Is this the right one for you? Maybe, maybe not. There's going to be some of us out there that while we want this sound, all we need is the preamplifier. We don't need any digital connectivity. We don't need any kind of equalization. But then again, there's others, but some of us do need a little high-end sparkle on our acoustic guitars or our vocals. Maybe we're recording drums and we need that low-mid cut at 360 on a kick drum or higher on a tom-tom. Some of us need to add a little body to something like 60 cycles on the kick drum. So the equalizer is really important to what we do. However, I do know that some of my friends really would benefit from something like this. They're professional vocalists that are doing background vocals or overdubs, and sometimes they're doing those on the road. So the fact that they could take this with what many would claim to be the ultimate microphone preamplifier for vocals, living their best life on the back of a bus. And some of our musician friends want access to this type of a channel strip, but it's a smaller studio, so the fact that it can easily interface with a couple other digital items and be selected right in their DAW as an input is a pretty cool feature. I hope you enjoyed this look at the AMS Neve 1073 SPX-D, and thank you for watching and happy mixing, guys.